That's a nice
Craig
way
does.
to start the episode.
Vicky's smiling, eh?
Hi there, YouTube. I'm Craig here with Bill and Antonio, and we are the Social Vultures. And Antonio has a surprise for us.
Well, it's just a topic that's dear to me. I know it's dear to you and Bill. I want to talk about director's cut.
Oh,
and there's
yeah.
one movie I've always wanted to have a debate about, and that is the Richard Donner version of Superman 2,
Yeah.
the Donner version.
Go for it, yeah.
The original Superman 2, not a bad movie, the original one.
I loved it.
And you know the story quickly. Richard Donner started doing Superman 2, but he had a falling out with Warner's and the Salkey brothers, and they brought in the other director. I can't remember who took over, but anyways, I can't top my mind, but that's not important.
I want to say Richard Lester, but I don't know if
I
that's
think
right.
you're right. I think you're right.
I think it's
Richard
Richard
Lester.
Lester.
We'll go with that.
He went ahead and he put together the cut with footage and some test reels that we're using there. And I just think, not a perfect film, but very, very fun film. And I think it's held up great because I can go back and watch that movie anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your issue with the Donner cut?
No, I have no issue. I'm just saying.
So you think the Donner cut's better?
I love the Donner cut compared to the original.
So do I. Yeah, I think it's... And actually, a lot of people... I've heard a lot of people complain about director's cuts and they say they don't like them and the movie was perfect the way it was. And I'd say 8 out of 10 times I end up preferring the director's cut.
Yeah, actually, you know what? When Lord of the Rings came out in the theaters, like, early 2000s,
Perfect example.
it's the absolute perfect example because I'm watching this movie and I'm like, wow, this is a great movie. The DVD comes around and I'm
love
like,
them.
wait a second, there's a lot more on
much more
this,
characters,
and
yeah.
I so
And
wish that this made the cinematic cut.
The extra stuff was so
Yeah.
good and so necessary.
Yes.
And you could argue the Rob Zombie Halloween director's cut, which we've never seen in theaters.
Yeah, the work print.
The work print
That's right.
is beautiful.
Yeah,
it is.
And, you know,
They
Danny
really
Trejo
should
and
release it.
Michael, his best friends in the
Yeah.
movie.
They should release the work print, and I think Rob Zombie's Halloween would get less flack if more people saw the work print because it is a superior cut.
Yeah.
Another big one that comes to mind for me is I Am Legend, which
Yeah.
I love. It's not really a director's cut, it's just an alternate ending, but for me, the alternate ending changes the entire movie.
Yeah.
And
It's a beautiful, it sums up the movie perfectly and makes it make sense. And, which is funny, because when it hit theaters, it did pretty well, but so many people were like, oh, I didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, don't listen to your focus group. Go with your original ending.
Yeah.
Because it was far superior.
in a movie everyone loves to hate, Daredevil, when you watch the director's cut,
Director's cut was way
I
better.
have a
yeah,
problem with
you're
the
right.
original, but the director's cut so much better than the original.
Yeah, I had no problem. I enjoyed the movie, but the director's cut is far superior.
Well, I find, maybe it's just me, but a lot of things that get under my skin about movies and even TV shows is that, you watch something and you're like, oh, that was great. It was missing one thing here and one thing there.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, well, if those two minor things were put in, it would have been absolute perfection.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've noticed the same thing. A lot of times director's cuts, they'll do that. It's like, oh, this is what we wanted to put in. Oh, and here's another thing that we wanted to put in. Oh, fantastic. Why didn't we see this the first time around?
Does it take away from you guys if it's hype, then you watch, it's like, well, what did they really change? Like, was it a reason to hype a director's cut when maybe...
I've seen I can't think of a specific example, but I know I've seen some movies where I got really excited for the director's cut, and then I watched it when it was over. I went, "What was new?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
It was like, check out our new director's cut with 2.5 minutes of new footage.
Oh,
And speaking of director's cut, a movie everyone hated before it came out, Fantastic Four. We were talking about this the other day. I can't wait to see there should be a director's
I'm
cut.
curious to see what they're going to do with that, because since it performed so poorly, I wonder if they're going to think they can recoup some of their funds by putting that
But
stuff
that's not
back
the
in.
movie the internet killed before it even came in the theaters. Because right away the teaser came out.
If there's going to be a director's cut, I
Yeah.
don't think we'll see it right away. I think it'll be down the road. It'll be a collector's edition.
Well, unfortunately, like you just sort of touched on it, at times it is a blatant cash grab. It's something that a studio or the production team will do just to get some money back.
There's films like Blade Runner that there's been 5 cuts.
You're right,
Close
yeah.
Encounters, there's been 4 cuts.
Yep.
And there's stuff like the original Halloween, there's a TV edit.
Yes.
And the extra scenes in
Yes.
the TV edit are amazing.
Yeah,
and
part
should
2 had
have
some
been in
edit
the original.
from the
Part 2
yeah.
did as well. But great stuff.
But saying that, folks, director's cut of Social Vultures, that's coming soon. Edited by Antonio, Bill, and Craig. We are...
The Social Vultures.
See you next time.